talk a little bit about getting a diagnosis. Really curious about people's thoughts on the whole self-diagnosis and, formal diagnosis. Where I'm at the moment is that I am just shy of a month of attending my first ever psychiatrist appointment. And I am going to see a psychiatrist who is well versed in ADHD specifically. I think it's a real privilege to be able to go and see a psychiatrist for many reasons, including the cost. It's taken, I think I've waited about 6 months for this appointment, which isn't too bad. The thing I think is really interesting is how it sort of interplays with all of these common symptoms of ADHD and other neurodivergent conditions. And some of those like administrative tasks really quite draining to act on, to feel motivated to do it. Having to go to a GP and be self-aware enough to have paid attention. It's hard to pay, or for me anyway, it's very hard for me to pay attention to my behavior and what I do at times. You've got to be able to communicate, get that appointment, communicate to the GP what you need. And then you need to try to find a psychiatrist who will actually see you. Like for me, I think I rang around like 4 different places and one eventually picked up. Like a bunch of them just never got back to me. You need to do more paperwork. And in that waiting time, I think what's also really tricky is for a lot of us, we may also struggle with comorbidities, right? So other conditions like an anxiety disorder. And even just that sense of not having clarity around your identity is really common. Feeling more rejected than what a lot of other people would feel, having that fear of rejection, like all of those things interplay. So for example, something as simple as being like, I need to call and make an appointment. For me, I'm like, I have to phone someone. That in of itself is a barrier. I don't like calling people, don't like having to navigate that conversation on the phone. I often will repeat the conversation multiple times in my head of like exactly what I need to say before I call. Filling in all this paperwork that's asking you questions about things around, what did you do when you were a child? For me, that meant then I had to bring up that conversation with my mum because I was kind of like second guessing myself going, wait, did I really do that? I don't know if I did that or not. And then that brought her thoughts into it, which also then, whether she meant for it to or not, for me, added to this sense of questioning myself, wanting to make sure that I was still accepted. Like it just becomes this real like challenge.